Hello, my name is Isaac Baxter. I'm an outside channel account manager here at Belden covering the Carolinas. Today we're here joined by our board panel.
Hi, I'm Ashish Chand, President and CEO at Belden.
Hi, my name is Diane Brink. I'm an independent director with Belden.
I'm Lance Balk. I'm an independent director of Belden.
Well, thank you guys for joining me today. I really appreciate it. We're going to be talking about some early career experiences today. So diving right into it, sometimes when early career professionals start within their professional career, they might be intimidated to work with leadership or finding their voice within the organization. So Diane, my question for you is, what is a piece of advice or insight that you wish you might have had when you started your career, specifically around navigating leadership or finding your voice?
That's a really good question, Isaac. Early in my career, I was pretty nervous to speak up. Just the seniority around me was pretty intimidating. And I became very observant and listened and watched what people were doing. And I realized after time that I had something that I could contribute, that I could say. And so I began by basically asking questions out of curiosity, and that gave me confidence, and it made me realize that I could contribute, and then it became my way of life. It was really through questioning that gave me the confidence, and I didn't feel intimidated anymore. I felt like I could really make a difference in what I was doing, and that change caused others to change as a result, because people said, oh, I can talk too. You know, it wasn't this hierarchy, because at the time, hierarchy was a very, very big thing, and you really were mindful of reporting and levels and when you could speak and when you couldn't speak. And just by asking simple questions, it leveled the playing field.
Awesome, thank you. Lance, Ashish, do you guys have anything to add?
I don't really have anything to add. I think that in my career, I've never been great at public speaking, as is apparent in this video. The reality for me was to become a substantive expert, to be expert in the thing that I was talking about. And that gave me just a comfort zone to address those issues in a group meeting or with, senior management of the law firm or the company that I was at. And I think just having the expertise and the confidence that you know the answers or can get the answers quickly gives you a leg up.
So two things from my side. The first is that anybody that is willing to invest the time to criticize you is helping you. So listen to that. That helps you learn faster and make contributions. I think the second thing is be very curious. Ask as many questions as you would like. Most good organizations will not discourage that. And if they do discourage that, it's a sign maybe that it's not a great organization and you need to move on. If you do those two things, if you are curious and if you take criticism constructively, it helps a lot.
Awesome, thank you for that. Well, we're on the topic of advice. Lance, my next question is for you. What do you think is the biggest lesson that you've learned in your career?
I don't think there's really any question, but that the biggest lesson I learned was be responsive. Now, I was in a service business my whole life at a law firm and as a general counsel of a company for a couple of years. But I would suggest that almost everybody watching this video is in a service business. And what I mean by be responsive is if somebody, a client reached out to me and asked a question, I would pick up the phone if I could, or I'd answer it. The best case scenario is I had the answer, or I have an 80-20 answer that I could give the client and then say, I'll follow up and make sure that's right. Or I don't know the answer, but I'll research it and get back to you right away. So it's always that responsiveness, I think, that allowed clients and the people that I worked with to have confidence that I was on top of the issues that concerned them. I think the worst thing is when you don't hear from somebody, they don't answer your calls, you don't hear back from them, then I think that you lose confidence as a client in that scenario. And for all of you guys out there, the client is the people you work with, and whether, and I know that, Brian's a lawyer, so his client is all the senior management team, just like my client was that when I was at a company.
Great. Diane, Ashish, anything to add?
For me, it's all about always being prepared. No matter what job I was in, I made it a point of being over-prepared, almost to a fault, but it helped me because as situations changed, I was able to be flexible because I was prepared. I didn't get unsteady in what I was doing because I had done my homework. And that also taught me to recognize that things aren't going to always go the way you want them to, and just by being prepared, you have an opportunity to keep on going forward.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So kind of shifting over to more of an inclusivity conversation, Ashish, I have a question for you. So what guidance would you offer to somebody maybe earlier in their career, not yet in a leadership position, who wants to contribute to an inclusive workplace culture?
Yeah, like they say that to be a leader, you don't need a title, you just need followers. Similarly, to be a leader that's inclusive, or to be a person that's inclusive, you don't need a title, you need to show certain behaviors. So it's always in the small things that you do. So for example, take part in employee resource groups, take part in mentorship programs, listen to all sorts of feedback. Don't allow bias to creep in when you are evaluating criticism. I think these are small things you can do. Make sure that around you, other voices are promoted and heard. That's really important. In fact, the biggest growth opportunity you have when you get to the first or second rung is how you deal with other people. And when you get more senior, it's all about cross-cultural management. So really, it's building up all the small steps, those small behaviors, and all of that will combine to make you a good inclusive leader.
Thank you for that. And you'd mentioned critique, and the more you move up, taking those risks and having conversations. Do you think there were any pivotal moments, maybe some mentors or risks that you had taken earlier in your career that helped accelerate your journey to where you're at today?
Yeah, there were two that I can speak to. The first is I was asked to go to Hong Kong to lead a business that had to be turned around. And when I first got there, I had some preconceived notions of how that business should be managed based on more Western principles. And very quickly, they showed me my place. Even though I was the leader, I was not getting a lot of traction. And it's only when I started listening to the people that actually participated in that business and learning about the business that I learned how to run that business. And that really helped me. If that project hadn't worked out, I would not be sitting here today. The second one was really around this whole idea of bundling things together to create solutions. And it is actually a situation where we were not getting enough revenue growth in Asia. And the opportunity lay in bringing together contributions from across Belden, from Germany, from the US, from the Netherlands, et cetera, to supply a full solution, which meant working inclusively with a lot of different people, with a lot of different opinions. And that was a very humbling experience to really, listen to all of them and somehow bring that all together. So those were two pivotal turning points for me.
Great, thank you. Diane, Lance, do you have any moments you'd like to share? Great. Well, thank you all for joining us today. We hope that this is useful for our early career professionals looking to boost themselves here at Belden. And for the watchers and audience, thank you very much.